Hey, so today I want to talk about Iron Widow. I picked it up because my friend was reading it with her book club, and my goal this year is to read more physical books and not just Dramini fanfiction. So I want to talk about what I loved and what I didn't love about this book. The concept is cool. It's described as a mix of Handmaid's Tale and Pacific Rim, and I'd also throw in Hunger Games, and I think I've seen other people compare it to that too. So, very cool. It's a sci-fi fantasy set in a futuristic alternate universe, but the main character, Zitian, is based off of China's first and only woman emperor. So, it has elements of Chinese history, even though it's not this universe or this world. It just takes elements from history, which I find very fascinating and cool. So, there are monstrous creatures called the Hundun, which are threatening humanity, and male pilots have to control these giant mecha creatures, mecha animals, to fight them. And these mecha creatures are powered by feminine life source. So women are co-piloting, but they're not really contributing other than their life force being drained. And more often than not, these women end up dying in the battles because their life force gets completely drained. There are some women that are powerful enough to survive, but either way, they're always second-class citizens, and they're called the concubine. In the prologue, we find out that Zitian's sister was killed, possibly murdered by the pilot, because she didn't even get to her first battle. If she did, her family would have received money, compensation, because that was the main goal. The parents wanted to send the daughter off to become a concubine so they could get money, because they're poor. They didn't get any money because she died before she could get to the battle. So Zitian has a strong feeling that her sister was murdered, and this drives the plot, her revenge. She wants revenge on the pilot that killed her sister, and so she is doing whatever she can to become a concubine and get into his mecha so she can kill him. Her parents were planning to enlist her anyway, which is kind of messed up since her older sister died, but they seem to value what the daughters can bring them monetarily more than their actual lives. They just want money. It's considered a high honor for these concubines, but at the end of the day, there aren't really many options available to Zitian anyway because she comes from a poor family. So this was going to be her destiny anyway, to become a concubine. So I like that it was fast-paced and the plot didn't drag at all. It kept my interest. But I feel like more time could have actually been spent on character development. For example, Zitian would have like an inner conflict or struggle with what she should do, and then immediately, like on the same page, that conflict would be resolved. We never really got to see her grow as a character because she didn't really struggle. She would have an issue and it would be resolved immediately, and it would be on to the next thing. So I would have liked to see her fail a bit more. I just wasn't worried about her at all because I knew that she was going to be okay. Things were just happening to her and she was dealing with it. She would be stressed out for a few sentences and then she'd be okay again because she was strong. And I'm all for that. I love a strong, badass woman lead protagonist. But it just felt like I needed to see her fail more. I needed to see some struggle. She was just up here the whole time. So that was my main issue with her. It just seemed that everything she did worked out perfectly. Early on in the book, she actually succeeds in her goal and murders her sister's murderer without too much struggle. And I was okay with it at the time because it was early on, so I knew that this was just starting the story. You know, she needed to get this done for the events of the story to happen. And I was kind of living for the moment when she stepped out of his mecha, his big fox mecha, and looked directly into like the news drones and said, "Welcome to your nightmare." It's like, it was really like cheesy, but I was kind of living because I was like, yeah, like you go. But then she just kept succeeding. She was super strong and powerful the whole time. So I started to not really believe her as a character. There was no suspense in that sense. I wasn't worried about her. She was going to be fine. She was going to make a decision and follow through with it, and it was going to be okay. And I love the whole screw the patriarchy thing, but it was a little on the nose a little too on the nose in some parts. For example, her childhood friend, Ijit. I looked up the pronunciation. Just a second. Yes, Ijit. Okay, yes. So she's sitting with her friend Ijit, and he compliments the way she looks. And she just stares at him, and he second guesses what he said. So he says, what, two middle-aged men at the gas station asking you to smile more? And it's relatable, but it just felt kind of out of place and forced and too on the nose. So there were a few moments like that where I just felt like it was very like, okay, we get it. It's not subtle. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be subtle. This book is not subtle at all. It's very in your face. It's powerful. It's fast. And if you don't like subtlety, this book's perfect. It's not subtle at all. It's very in your face. You're rooting for her as a woman, and she's a strong protagonist. She comes from like an oppressed culture where she's forced into foot binding. She's looked at as below her brother. Her destiny is just to make money for the family, and she doesn't really have any free will. It's very like feminist driven plot, but I just wish that she would have had better relationships with other women in the book. The only woman friend she has ends up betraying her later on, and the other women are just straight up rude to her face. So it's mainly about her developing relationships with other men, which is okay. I just would have liked more like women friendships in the book. So after she murders her sister's murderer, the army is confused about what to do with her because they don't want a strong, independent woman to be the face of the army. She had her moment on the news, but they just kind of want to erase her, basically. So they force her to co-pilot with Li Shimin, he murdered his whole family, and he was scooped off of death row in order to pilot this giant bird mecha in the army because he is super powerful, and they were like, we're just going to use him. But the catch is that he's so powerful that every concubine that has ever piloted with him has died because he just completely overpowers them and drains their life force. It's revealed a bit later on that he doesn't actually want to kill all these women. Like, he isn't a bloodthirsty murderer that he's portrayed to be, but that's everyone's impression of him just because he's too powerful. So the army sends Zetienne to pilot with him, and of course she survives because she's super powerful. And it ends up being that she's more powerful than him because of course she is. Her and Li Shimin, they have trauma, so they kind of talk about their lives and their traumas, and they bond, and they develop a relationship. And at the same time, Zetienne also has a relationship with her friend Ijit. So there's a love triangle situation. Or is there? Because this book solves the love triangle situation by having them all get together. It's a polyamorous love story, which I love that. I love the bi-poly representation, but like with her character development, I wish that the relationship was more developed because it happens very fast. You see her develop a relationship with Li Shimin and one with Ijit, but you don't see Ijit and Li Shimin really develop a relationship. There's a point where Li Shimin is hallucinating and he's sick, and he looks at Ijit and he mistakes him for his ex-partner. So it's kind of hinted that he sees Ijit in that light, but it's not like, that's where it's subtle. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, it's not subtle in anywhere else, but for some reason, like, the relationship was super subtle. So I just would have liked more development in the relationship, because at the point in the book where they all actually get together, it felt very rushed because Li Shimin and Zetienne had just finished torturing a man. They got it all on video. They go back to their room and Ijit is there, and they show him the video of them torturing a man, and he's just not that shocked. He doesn't really show much of a reaction towards the video, and then they just all get together. So at the end of the book, there's a huge battle between the Hindins and the Mecha army. And I just realized I'm waving this book around. I hope that's not distracting. Okay, so at the end of the book, there's a huge battle between the Hindins and the Mecha army. And this battle takes place like farther away than they have been, like way off in the mountains. You know, they've gone onto Hundun territory to battle them, and they realize that the Hunduns are much stronger and established out there. During this battle, Zetien's only woman friend that she had made betrays Zetien and attempts to kill her and Li Shimin, who are in the bird mecha. Li Shimin sees what's happening and he ejects Zetien to save her life, and then he ends up getting killed. Zetien is like, she's like, we're losing this battle. I just got betrayed. What can I do? I'm gonna go find the long-lost emperor who has been missing for 200 years and try and save him because he has a giant dragon mecha that might be able to save the day. And so she immediately finds him, and she has the cure for flower pox, which is why he was frozen. He was about to die from flower pox, so he froze himself in a stasis for 200 years until someone came with the cure. And of course, she had it. And what confused me a bit was how fast everything happened. She found the emperor, cured him, and then was like, let me pilot the dragon and let's just go to the battle. And all of like his people who had been waiting 200 years for the emperor to be revived didn't stop them. The emperor was like, okay. And then she takes the dragon with the emperor in it. The emperor actually is the co-pilot in this sense. Like, she's just fully taken control, which is unheard of for a woman. And she flies back to the battle, defeats the rest of the Hundun, murders the woman who betrayed her. Before she murders the woman, she finds out that the reason the woman betrayed her was because the army had taken her kids and threatened to kill her kids if she didn't kill Zetien, because the army doesn't want Zetien around. And Zetien doesn't care. She's like, I don't care. She just kills her. That's it. She kills her, she wins the battle, and then she flies back to the city, and her family is there, and she kills her whole family. And it makes sense, like, why she would want to kill her dad and her grandpa. They were abusive to her. Her mom might have been redeemable, but at the point when Zetien's about to kill her family, her mom steps out and is like, please spare your brother's life. He deserves to live. And that angers Zetien because she's like, you've never protected me or my sister, but yet you protect him because he's a man, and she just murders them. She was a morally gray character the whole time, but this really feels like a villain origin story at this point, which I love that, like morally gray villain. I like that a lot. But at the same time, she's like too power hungry. It's a bit much. You question her decisions, but she never questions her decisions. Also, she wants to go back to the days where the pilots are political figures. Like, in her present day, the pilots are all just celebrities. They're kind of used as entertainment. These battles are all live streamed, like people watch them, make bets on them. It's just like a fun thing. But she wants to go back to where they're taken more seriously, and there's nothing more serious than being the emperor. She just decides to declare herself as the emperor, and this is near the end of the book, so we don't see how the world reacts to this news, but I'm sure that people will follow her because she proved that she's powerful and she will kill you. She'll kill you to get what she wants, to get revenge. She's very angry and she doesn't think twice about murder. So, and then there is a cliffhanger twist ending, which I enjoy. I like a twist. I like a cliffhanger. It turns out that the Hunduns were the natives to this world and the humans were colonizers, and this isn't their planet. The Hunduns were just trying to defend themselves, and it wasn't the other way around the whole time. This is revealed at the very end of the book, and the last line is, I drag my nails down my head and scream. So it's a powerful ending. It's a cliffhanger. It makes you want to see what happens next. I like that. Like I said, it's not subtle. It's in your face. She's powerful and she's here for blood. Anyway, yeah, so there were some things I liked and some things I didn't like. Basically, I liked the concept. It was interesting, fast-paced, kept my interest. I liked the LGBT representation by poly relationships. I wish it was developed more. I wish there was more time spent on world building and character development. And I wish that Zetian struggled a bit more. It was hard to really take her seriously because just everything worked out for her. She never struggled. She would have a conflict for a sentence, and then the next sentence it would be resolved. It felt like the plot just kind of moved along to the next thing rather than spending time resolving a conflict and then like the results of that make things happen. It just felt like things were happening the whole time, you know? But it's short, so that's good. So, badass, morally gray, villain origin story. I would rate it 3 out of 5, I think. It was interesting, but I'm a sucker for character development. That's like where it lost the most points for me. Okay, so thanks for watching.
I forgot to mention that Lee Shumin is actually alive. That was another twist.
I would have liked to see more women on woman relationships. Sorry. And male pirate. This is their world, bitch. Powering.